All right, let's talk about multiplying polynomials. We're going to go easy to start you. Multiplying a monomial times a polynomial. It's a good old distributive property. So when we look at this problem, when we take x times y, we get xy. Bring the plus, x times 2, bring 2x, and it's done. Number 2, x times x equals x squared. Bring over the minus. X times 4 is 4x. I need you to understand something very carefully here, okay? See how I draw these arches? I do this, and I've been doing this since 1986. It works for me. That way I make sure everything outside the parentheses gets multiplied by everything inside. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Y times y is y squared. Negative 3y times 6 is negative 18y. Again, it's a negative when it stands alone. Once there's a number in front of it, we think of it as minus. X squared y times x is x cubed y. X squared y times negative y is negative x squared y squared. X squared y times 5 is a positive 5x squared y. There it is. We're good. All right, that's not going to work. Let's look at number 5. I have 4a squared b times 3ab. 4 times 3 is 12. A squared times a is a cubed. B times b is b squared. I'm going to bring over this minus. 4a squared b times b cubed. Well, we have 4a squared b to the 4th. All right. Here, 10x squared y cubed times 3xy. That's 30x cubed y to the 4th minus 10 times 4 is 40. Bring over x squared, bring over y cubed, and then this z carries over. And now this last one, 1/3 x to the 4th times all of this. A lot of you would skip this one because you see the fraction. Guys, it is a fraction, but I want you to think of this as a division problem. When I take 1/3 of 6, I'm multiplying, but what I'm really doing is I'm taking 6 divided by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and then I have x to the 4th times x squared. That's x to the 6th. Distribute again. Bring over my minus. 9 divided by 3 is 3. X to the 4th times x is x to the 5th. Bring my plus. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And I bring over x to the 4th. And there I am. All right. So that's how we distribute. Now what I want to do is multiply more than just a monomial, and I'm going to start with a binomial. There are a couple of ways to do this. One way is to use the box method. We call it the box method. It's not a physical box, it's really a square, but the term Punnett square has already been taken by your genetics teachers. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a mini multiplication chart. So that's what I want to look at. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write this. I'm going to draw my little multiplication table. If you remember how it works, the stuff goes on the outside. So I'm going to put my x here, and my plus 2 will go over here. And then along the side, I'm going to put my x, and then my plus 4 goes here. Okay? So What I want to do is use the multiplication table like what you have in your composition book where you fill in the insides, okay? So what is x times x? Well, that's x squared. Now, what is x times 2? Well, that's 2x. And what is 4 times x? That's 4x. And what is 4 times 2? Well, that's 8. And then I'll look to see if I have any like terms. If I have any like terms, they would be in my diagonal here. So my final answer is x squared plus 6x plus 8. And there it is. Let's look at this one. Again, I draw my square, and I have x minus 6, and I have x plus 5. So remember in terminology, we talked about why we call a square term a quadratic, even though quad means 4. Look what's happening here. I've got 4 segments to fill in. And when I multiply here, we have x squared. Oh, that's not the real definition, but that's one way maybe to remember it. X times negative 6 is negative 6x. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. Again, I've got my like terms. And I find that this is x squared minus x minus 30. And y'all, I have to tell y'all something right now. It won't make sense until the 2 units down the road. When we multiply here, we get negative 30x squared. Multiplying here gives me negative 30x squared. Look here, when we multiply this diagonal, we get 8x squared. When we multiply this diagonal, we get 8x squared. That's going to be a big deal later as well. All right, so now let's take this a little further and let's use coefficients other than 1. So x minus 4 goes here, and then we'll put 2x minus 5 here. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 4 is negative 8x. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times negative 4 is 20. And so I've got my like terms. My final answer is 2x squared minus 13x plus 20. And now let's look over here. Same thing. I have 4x plus 2. And I know it sounds crazy, but take that sign along with it. That way it never gets forgotten. And in the row headers, I've got 2x plus 7. All right. 2x times 4x is 8x squared. 2x times 2 is 4x. 7 times 4x is 28x. And then 7 times 2 is 14. Here are my like terms. So when I combine my like terms, I have 8x squared plus 32x plus 14. A lot of students love this method because it organizes everything for you. It helps you remember to multiply because remember, it's a multiplication table. It shows you where your like terms are. It does take up some space. You do end up rewriting the problem. So for those of you that don't want to draw out a Punnett square every time, there's also the FOIL method. FOIL is a mnemonic. So we're going to take the first terms and multiply them. We'll multiply the outer terms. We'll multiply the inner terms. And then we'll multiply the last terms. And what we're really going to do is combine any like terms that we have. So we have first, outer, inner, last. And then you combine any like terms. Okay? So let's see what that looks like. I should have done the same problems that I did for the previous, so that you would see that you get the same answer. And I may do that next year, but I want to get a nice mix of everything. All right, so here we go. And again, I draw. First, outer, inner, last. So first times first gives me x squared. Outside times outside is negative 5x. Inside times inside is 3x. Last times last is negative 15. And if I have like terms, I combine them and I'll get x squared minus 2x minus 15. So remember, first times first, outside times outside, inside times inside, last times last. I'm going to do this every single time. And notice I'm not having to draw a box. I'm not having to rewrite any terms. I go straight to multiplying. First times first, x times x. Outside times outside, x times 20. Inside times inside, negative 10 times x. Last times last, negative 10 times 20. And I see my like terms here. And I get x squared plus 10x minus 200. All right, number 7. We take first times first, 3x squared, outside times outside, minus 15x, inside times inside, minus 5x, last times last, negative 5 times negative 5 is a positive 25. My like terms are here. We will get 3x squared minus 20x plus 25. All right, my last example. First times first is 18x squared. Outside times outside is negative 54x. Inside times inside is a positive 6x. And then last times last is negative 18. My like terms are here. We get 18x squared minus 48x minus 18. Okay, 9 and 10. Multiply using either method. Well, the nice thing about the video is I can show you both methods. So let's look at these, shall we? I'm going to do FOIL first because there's nothing to write out. First times first is 2x squared. Outside times outside is 2xy. Inside times inside. So watch this. It's 3yx. However, in algebra, you always want to write your variables alphabetically. And then last times last is 3y squared. So here are my like terms. So we'll get 2x squared plus 5xy plus 3y squared. And if we box this up, probably going to need some room. We have x plus y. We have 2x plus 3y. Okay. Does it matter if x plus y goes here or here? No, it doesn't. It's just I know what's coming down the road, so I want to write it this way just so that you can see that something happens. But if you want to put x plus y here and 2x plus 3y there, you can. So we're going to take 2x times x, and we get 2x squared. When I take 2x times y, I get 2xy. When I take 3y times x, I get 3xy. When I take y times y, I get 3y squared. Here are my like terms. So my final answer is 2x squared plus 5xy plus 3y squared. And would you look at that? Same answer. Different method, same answer. Do I care which one you use? No. If I only wanted you to use one method, I would have only taught you one method. And in fact, there's one other method, but we'll save that torture for another day. All right. Number 10, first times first is 10x squared. Outside times outside is 15xy. Inside times inside is negative 10xy. Last times last is negative 15y squared. If I have any like terms, they'll be in the middle. We've got 10x squared. 15 minus 10 is 5. xy minus 15y squared. All right, so let's use this method. Oh, I guess it would help if I could slide this over. Yeah. All right, there it is. And then we have 5x minus 5y. Okay, 5x times 2x is 10x squared. 5x times 3y is 15xy. Negative 5y times 2x is negative 10xy. And then negative 5 times 3y is negative 15y squared. Like terms are there. So we have 10x squared plus 5xy minus 15y squared. And again, I have matching answers. Different method, same answer. Choose the one that you like better. I like FOIL because I'm lazy. But I like the box method because it's thorough and it makes sure that everything gets multiplied by everything. And also, if you don't know how to spell FOIL, you're going to be in trouble. Okay, special products. These were notes that we created back in like 2005, 2006. And a lot of people don't talk about special products. I like special products because I'm lazy. And what these are is they call them special products, but what they really are shortcuts. Okay, so whenever we have squares, okay, when you square something, remember, it means that we multiply it by itself. So the square of x plus 4 is really x plus 4 times x plus 4. And I think for this one, I'm just going to FOIL. So we get x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16. And I have my like terms here. X squared plus 8x plus 16. Here, when we square 2x plus 3, it's really 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. First times first is 4x squared. Outside times outside is 6x squared. Inside times inside is 6x. Oh, that was 6x also, my bad. 3 times 3 is 9. Like terms, they're actually the same. 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. So look at the outer and the inner. They're the same. Outer and inner are the same. So that's part of it. And notice you have x times x. You have 2x times 2x. 4 times 4, 3 times 3. Okay? So this is really 5x minus 8 times 5x minus 8. All right, y'all ready? I'm going to do this one a little differently. This is 5x times 5x, right? Then when we go to outer, so that's inner. Now let's go outer. We get negative 40x. When we go inside, we get negative 40x. And then we're going to take 8 times 8. And we get 25x squared minus 80, not 8, goob, 80x plus 64. All right, so I'm ready to show you a shortcut. Honestly, when I took this in 1987, we sort of had to memorize the shortcut, which we don't make you memorize anymore, but I can show you where it comes from. I have x times x. I have x times 4y and x times 4y, which is 8. You know, you double it, you get 8. And then 4y times 4y is 16y squared. We actually have a pattern. Do you have to memorize this pattern? Oh, no. I just know it because, remember, I'm lazy and I look for patterns. If I have more patterns, I have less work. All right. Difference of two squares. This is what happens whenever, it actually looks like this. There's a square. Remember, difference means minus, and there's another square. That's what it's going to look like. Okay. So here, again, I'm going to use the FOIL method because I'm lazy. X times x is x squared. Outside times outside, negative 3x. Inside times inside, plus 3x. Last times last is negative 9. These are going to zero out. I'm left with x squared minus 9. First times first, 16x squared. Outside times outside, negative 24x. Inside times inside, plus 24x. Last times last is negative 36. Ooh, we zero out again. We're left with 16x squared minus 36. Now notice the numbers that I'm multiplying. They're opposite. They're the same first term, the same last term. They have opposite middle terms. They're called conjugates. First times first is x squared. Outside times outside is plus xy. Inside times inside is minus xy. Last times last is minus y squared. Conjugates, when you get to Spanish, French, when they make you conjugate verbs, you're just doing, a different form of the same word. That's sort of what's happening here. We're just adding or subtracting. All right. So again, I've got opposites in the middle, and that's going to happen every single time I multiply conjugates. So I bring down my x squared. I bring down my minus y squared. So without doing any work, 5x times 5x is 25x squared. I know my outside and my inside will zero out. And now I bring over my minus. 7y times 7y is 49y squared. And again, if we did like 10 of these, you would realize the pattern. But do you really want to watch me do 10 of these? No, I don't want to watch me do 10 of these. So keep this in mind. And again, hopefully you noticed a pattern. If you didn't notice a pattern, that's okay. That's why I've shown you two different methods to multiply. All right, now we have a binomial times a polynomial. So what happens here is there are actually three methods. I'm going to show you the box method if you want. I'm going to show you actually several methods. Okay, the one you cannot use, however, is FOIL, and I'll show you with this first one. First times first, outside times outside, inside times inside, last times last. What do you notice happened? 2x never got touched. We never multiplied it in this problem, and that's an issue. So no FOIL here. Okay, so I'm actually going to look at the box method. I've got x squared plus 2x plus 5. And I'm going to multiply that by 3x plus 1. And now I do what I've done previously. 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 5 is 15x. 1 times x is x squared. 1 times 2x is 2x. 1 times 5 is a positive 5. And again, I've got some like terms in my diagonals. My final answer is 3x cubed plus 7x squared plus 17x plus 5. And you know what? I'll go ahead and do this one using the same method. Because we have more problems on the back, I can show you the other methods there. All right. 3x squared minus 2x minus 1. And here we have x plus 7. So x times 3x squared is 3x cubed. X times negative 2x is negative 2x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. 7 times negative 3x, 7 times 3x squared is 21x squared. 7 times negative 2x is negative 14x. 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. And again, I see some like terms there and there. So we get 3x cubed plus 19x squared minus 15x minus 7. So that is a binomial times a trinomial, or a polynomial. All right. I'm going to show you, I'm going to set up the distributive property so you can see it, because that's another method. That's one that I like to teach my Algebra 2 students. The distributive property breaks up a term. So what I want to do is I want to think of this as 2x times 4x squared plus 5xy minus 8y squared. Then I bring over minus 3y, and that distributes to 4x squared plus 5xy minus 8y squared. And yeah, that's a good bit of work, but that's really what you're doing with the box. 2x gets multiplied by that stuff, and then 3y gets multiplied by that stuff. But there's another way that I like, and it's what you did when you first learned to multiply numbers. And that's making, I just drew a blank. This is writing multiplication vertically. Okay, so like remember when you had to multiply a 3-digit number times a 2-digit number? So let's do 1, 2, 3 times 45. And remember you did 5 times everything, you left a space, and you did 4 times everything. Same thing here. Okay, let's take 3y times 8y squared. Oh, my apologies. Let's take negative 3y times negative 8y squared. We get positive 24y cubed. Let's take negative 3y times 5xy. We get negative 15xy squared. And then let's take negative 3y times 4x squared. And we get negative 12x squared y. All right, so 3y has been multiplied by everything. Now let's move to 2x. 2x times negative 8y squared is negative 16xy squared. And would you look at that? Remember how you always had to put a 0 here? That's because you had to line up the units and the tens properly. Well, we're still lining up properly, but now we're lining up according to like terms. I take 10x times 5xy, and I get 10x squared y. Like terms again. And then I take 2x times 4x squared, and I get 8x squared times x cubed. And now I line up my like terms. I get 8x cubed minus 2x squared y minus 31xy squared plus 24y cubed. Okay, so that's another way to think of the problem. I'll leave that there for you to sort of, let's let you marinate on that for a second. And while you think of that, I'm going to go ahead and do this one with the box method because, I'm getting kind of tired. And I think most people prefer this one. So we'll do 3x minus 4y. So 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. 3x times negative 3x is negative 9x squared. 3x times 7 is 21x. Negative 4y times x squared is negative 4x squared y. Negative 4y times negative 3x is, positive 12xy. Sorry, I got to cram that in. I should have written it bigger. Negative 4y times 7 is negative 28y. My like terms are here. If we wrote it vertically, the like terms would line up. We get 3x cubed minus 13x squared. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's wrong. Dude, what am I doing? If we had like terms, they'd be in the diagonal. Dude, there are no like terms here. Come on, Robes. So guess what? We have to do every term. 3x cubed minus 4x squared y minus 9x squared plus 12xy plus 21x minus 28y. Dang, this is my final answer. Dang. Okay. All right, find the area of the rectangle. How do you find area? That's easy. The formula for area is the length times the width. So my length here is 3x plus 5. And my width is 3x squared plus 6x minus 10. And again, it really doesn't matter which one goes first as long as they all get multiplied. And for this one, I'm just going to take 3x times 3x squared. That's 9x cubed. 3x times 6x is 27x squared. 3x times negative 10 is negative 30x. So I'm distributing everything. This is sort of what I was showing you up here, but I'm making it not so complicated. Now I'm going to take 5 times 3x squared, which is 15x squared. And I'll take 5 times 6x, which is 30x. And then I'll take 5 times negative 10, which is negative 50. All right, so now I combine like terms. 9x cubed stands alone. 27x squared plus 15x squared is 42x squared. Negative 30x plus 30x is 0. Oh, that zeroed out, so I don't even need to write it. And then I bring down my minus 50. So that's how you multiply. All right. Find the area of a square with side length 5a minus 7. So I believe the formula sheet tells you that the area of a square is s squared, where s represents the side length. So we're going to take 5a minus 7 squared. So this is 5a minus 7 times 5a minus 7. And I've already got it set up for the FOIL method. First times first is 25a squared. Outside times outside is negative 35a. Inside times inside is negative 35a. And then last times last is a positive 49. Here are my like terms. So we get 25a squared. Ooh, that was almost ugly. Minus 70a plus 49. All right, Robadeer, I don't want to see it that way. I like the box method. Okay, I'll show it to you. So we're going to take 5a minus 7 times 5a minus 7. 5a times 5a is 25a squared. 5a times negative 7 is negative 35a. Negative 7 times 5a is negative 35a. Negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. Here are my like terms. So we'll get 25a squared minus 70a plus 49. And oh my goodness, look at that. Same answer. All right, so multiplying. You'll use the FOIL method. You'll use the box method. Just make sure that every term here gets multiplied by every term there. We're going to combine like terms as needed. And there you go. That's how it works.